You're watching On the Issues with Chris and Mike, a speakeasy conversation brought to you by cooleyconservatives.com.
Back in the speakeasy with me, Mr. Mike Hipsch. We are On the Issues with Chris and Mike. How's it been going so far?
It's been great.
How has duck season gone? You talked a little bit about that off air.
It was the duck opener today. My sons and I were down at Goose Island. We got there. We hit the boat landing about 2:15 this morning, and we were in the boat sitting out there. And it's funny because you're waiting for the moment that you can shoot. Today it was 6:38, so we're waiting. There were some shots.
Official sunrise,
yeah.
Right?
There were some shots early on, and we're like, this, somebody's breaking along. We're like, no, hang on. And then 6:38 hits, and it's like a war zone. Boom, 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 boom. And you can hear them in Minnesota. You can hear, all up and down the river.
Even from here, I can hear them when I got the window open too.
Sure. I'm sure. So it was good. We got 3 ducks, so it was a good morning.
Excellent.
Yeah.
3 of you, 3 ducks.
Yeah.
Good job.
There you go, right.
All right. Well, obviously there's been a lot of issues going on since the last time we spoke. Let's start at the top of the list. And by the top of the list, I mean, like at the federal level, we're hearing it over and over again all week long about the government shutdown.
Right.
This was on Truth Social. Okay, screen is sharing. Here we go. And what does it say here? Democrats, if you don't give us everything we want, we're going to shut down the government.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what they said.
Yep.
So here we go.
Good afternoon. Frank conversation with the Senate and House Democratic leadership. Look, the principle at stake here is very simple. We have disagreements about tax policy, but you don't shut that government down. We have disagreements about healthcare policy, but you don't shut the government down. You don't use your policy disagreements as leverage to not pay our troops, to not have essential services of government actually function. You don't say the fact that you disagree about a particular tax provision is an excuse for shutting down the people's government and all the essential services that come along with it. If you look at what Chuck Schumer has said in the past consistently, it's whatever our disagreements are, let's negotiate with them. Let's talk about them. Let's figure out a bipartisan solution, but you don't shut the government down. In other words, you don't put a gun to the American people's head and say, unless you do exactly what Senate and House Democrats want you to do, we're going to shut down your government. That's exactly what they're proposing out there. Now, we have to remember, they're very frustrated. They say that they're very frustrated about the fact that this negotiation has not taken place until today. But if you look at the original thing they did with this negotiation, it was a $1.5 trillion spending package, basically saying to the American people, we want to give massive amounts of money, hundreds of billions of dollars to illegal aliens for their health care, while Americans are struggling to pay their health care bills. That was their initial foray into this negotiation. We thought it was absurd. We told them it was absurd, and now they come in here saying that if you don't give us everything that we want, we're going to shut down the government. We think that's preposterous. We think it's totally unacceptable, and we think the American people are going to suffer because these guys won't do the right thing. Now, I want to make one final point here. You will hear a lot from Senate Democrats, from House Democrats about the fact that American healthcare policy is broken. Well, we know that American healthcare policy is broken. We've been trying to fix it for the 8 months that we've been in office, but every single thing that they accuse about being broken about American healthcare is policy that Democrats have supported for the past decade. So if they want to talk about how to fix American healthcare policy, let's do it. The Speaker would love to do it. The Senate Majority Leader would love to do it. Let's work on it together. But let's do it in the context of an open government that's providing essential services to the American people. That's all that we're proposing to do. And the fact that they refuse to do that shows how unreasonable their position is. I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing. I hope they change their mind, but we're going to see.
The vice president talking about that. The other thing that he had mentioned was some of those sombrero memes that are going around, which is pretty hilarious, I think, but not to the people who don't have a sense of humor.
Right. Not to those who are offended by everything. So,
right.
It is stunning, actually. I've not, for some time now, I just don't know what the Democrats' strategy has been. And I'm not sure they have one, to tell you the truth. They seem to react to whatever opportunity comes along. The whole transsexual and men and women locker room and all that type of stuff didn't make any sense to me. I didn't know what their end game was. Now this whole idea of we're going to shut down the government because healthcare is broken. Well, healthcare is broken because we have Obamacare, or maybe it's not because they told us this was going to solve it.
Right.
So how could Donald Trump in 8 months have destroyed Obamacare? He couldn't have.
No.
So how can we say it's broken? We've got Obamacare. You fixed it. You said it was done. That is the kind of at the core of most of the programs that they come up with, is that they invent a problem, they come up with a solution that doesn't work, that they then need to throw more money at. And Obamacare and healthcare is certainly one of the areas that's no question. But the biggest issue that we've got here, and what I think the Democrats are beginning to understand, is that they no longer have the bully pulpit. Government shutdowns always worked for the Democrats because they had the bully pulpit. The most infamous one that I can remember is when Newt Gingrich shut it down with Bill Clinton.
Right.
And suddenly, Newt Gingrich was classifying ketchup as a fruit or a vegetable for school lunches. I mean, these are the things, and they were able to repeat that, and it's all we got because the only news we had was NBC, ABC, CBS, and now they don't have that bully pulpit. Number one, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance will go out on any source and any news site they can, and let people know that it's different. And you really, one of the things I think we've talked about, and I think is going to shape policy for a long time, is that we truly live in two completely different Americas.
Mm-hmm.
You and I get news that other people, the liberals, do not.
Right.
They have no idea what we have heard. And in the same sense, we have no idea what they heard. Best example I can give of that.
We're pretty good at that, though. We're pretty good about keeping an eye on the CBSs, the NBCs, but they never, ever get information from the podcasts that we're listening to,
Right.
or even Fox News. They just,
Right.
they won't go there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so much of it's driven by algorithms and where you're getting your news. And now it's either on X or on,
Yeah, it keeps catering toward what you are already showing you like.
Correct. So, and that's the news you're going to get. So because of that, and the fact that we live in two completely different Americas, we know, you and I know, when we go into a room, just by the conversation we're having with somebody, where they get their news.
Yeah.
We know exactly who they're talking about. We know where they got it. We know whether or not they're liberal or conservative.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the liberals fully understand that is now the case, that they really don't have that bully pulpit to work with anymore.
Well, and I think I like the way you put that, the bully pulpit that they're used to working with.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like just being in the majority either.
No.
I think they have a mentality that no matter who's got the majority, they are still going to bully everybody.
Right.
And they're used to bullying their way. Like I remember when George W. Bush was president,
Yeah.
and they would bully him
Yeah.
terribly. They were bullying him.
Right.
And unfortunately, they didn't fight back.
Right.
But now we're in a position where, look, and I hate to put it this way, but they're shooting us now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They are aiming their crazy people to go out and shoot at us now.
They're advocating for violence.
We are going to fight back.
Yes.
We're not taking it anymore. And I mean, coming back from that, Charlie Kirk, that was the number one thing. I mean, 200,000 people right there on site are not taking it anymore.
Right.
We're going to do it peacefully, but we're standing up. We're not just going to take it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think you nailed it. I think the Democrats are used to bullying their way through these things, even when they're in the minority.
Right.
But they're finding out right now, none of us are listening to them.
Yeah.
We won this election in 2024, and they haven't figured that out yet. They figure they can still bully their way through.
Right. And they think that they are going to continue to have the microphone of the national news, and the country is only going to get that. And that's just not the case.
Exactly. Like you've said on multiple occasions, the corporate media is dead.
It is.
It died in the 2024 election. Podcasts and these alternative news areas are the way that people get their news now.
Yep.
Nobody relies on the CBS, ABC, NBCs anymore.
Right. CNN, and none of those.
CNN, MSNBC, all that.
Yesterday, the Senate Majority Leader and the House Speaker had a press conference, and I was driving and I was listening to it on the radio, and it was on Sirius, I think. But I'm listening to I was on Fox Radio, and I'm listening to the actual podcast, and they're actually, you're hearing the actual press conference of the questions that are being asked. Well, Mr. Speaker, the Democrats say that they're not actually giving health care to illegal aliens, all that type of, and it's the direct answers. It's direct information. So I thought, just on a whim, let's see what's going on CNN radio. Nothing like that. They're not
No.
talking about, there's certainly, they don't have the Republican leaders on live like
Sure.
Fox did, but we don't hear anything about it. MSNBC, not even close. Again, you've got the two leaders talking about the biggest news story that's out there right now
These are the people in the negotiations,
Right.
writing the legislation.
Right.
And it's like I say it over and over and over again every week on my weekly recap. Never trust anything you hear from the corporate media, because they only give you a small portion of the truth and hide the rest of it from you. And like you just said, that is a perfect example of it.
Yeah.
You've got the people who are actually in the negotiations, the people who are writing the legislation and trying to get it passed, and they won't even bother getting them on the air to talk about what's actually happening.
Yep. When we were kids, we were told that not telling something that was true was also a lie. It's like,
That's right.
it's the lie of an omission.
Yes. Lies of omission.
Yeah, lies.
Like in legal stuff, when they talk about tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Right.
That means you can't just omit things.
Right.
You have to tell the whole truth.
Exactly. And yet that's what corporate media has been doing for 2 generations.
At least decades.
Omitting. And I understand. They get in a 30-minute broadcast, they've got 22 minutes to tell us the news. Okay, great. You're going to tell us the news, but you get to decide what news I'm going to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, even I've said this many times. The most trusted person in news was Walter Cronkite. He only had 22 minutes. How come he got to decide what news we were going to hear?
Yeah.
We trusted what he was saying, but what did he omit? What did we not find out? We didn't know FDR was in a wheelchair. We didn't know John Kennedy was having multiple affairs. They did. They knew the number of things about Lyndon Johnson we never heard about.
Right. They just didn't think people needed to know those details.
Right. Exactly. It wasn't until Watergate kind of changed all that, and then it just became that everybody in government is an adversary.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you're a Democrat.
No, it is fascinating where this whole government shutdown thing with the debate that has been going on. Just the absolute lying that has been going on. Like you said, talking about the illegal immigrants. And I was shocked too. I don't remember which one I saw, but I think it was CNN was just peppering Speaker Johnson. Like, well, that's not true. It's against federal law for illegal immigrants to get this money. And he's like, are you in the same planet?
Right.
This is going on all the time. Where do you think the emergency rooms are getting their money from, the Medicaid money from? And who's going to the emergency rooms? Illegal immigrants.
Exactly. And Schumer said the same thing on the floor. He said, there's no federal money going to this. That's perhaps technically true. Perhaps, not always, because what they do is they send it to the states under the Medicare and Medicare Acts. And so now it's the states that are using the federal money to provide these things. So it's up to the states to make that decision. So they can say, we're not doing it. Well, the other idea here is that you can simply say, this is the federal money. You cannot use it for that purpose. And they don't say that. And they know it's being used by illegal aliens. They know it's all over the place. And of course, we all know that that's what they wanted, because we can go back to the 2020 debate. The presidential,
they were all raising their
hands. Which of which of your healthcare plans cover illegal aliens? And not only did all their hands go up, but then the entire audience just went nuts in applause.
Yeah.
Like, well,
that's exactly who they are. They are the party of the illegal immigrants. Correct. And thank God we're a party of the citizens.
And law and order, and all of the things that we see kind of coming apart in this country, we have the answer for. And that's why I don't fully understand what their ultimate strategy is.
Yeah. I
mean, their demographics they have some really bad demographics coming up in the next few years as states continue to there's exodus from states to others.
Yep.
And, Wisconsin's going to lose population. California is always losing population. Illinois is the same. The census has said that they screwed up the last time, and which is one of the impetus for why Texas was doing their redistricting.
Right.
And they've come out and said, look, we just made a mistake, and Texas probably should have 1 or 2 more congressmen. Well, okay. So Texas is like, all right, fine. We'll redistrict them and find out where they are. So it's I don't know. It's an odd strategy that I'm seeing from the Democrats that I don't fully understand, and they continue every time you think it's going to get a little crazy, they double down and go a little further. Yeah, they're going to elect a socialist to the mayor of the largest city in the country. Yeah, I'm like, you do know that that's going to put on full display what a disaster socialism is, right?
Exactly. And it is interesting too, because I've had these conversations with friends of mine who are Democrats, like real Democrats.
Right.
And I said, why don't you, a common sense Democrat, run for some of these offices? Because they'd be destroyed in a primary.
Absolutely.
The only Democrats who get through primaries now are the absolute craziest people.
Right.
They got a real problem over there on that side of things. It's probably a good segue. We could take a break now and then get into some of just how crazy some of these people are now.
Sure. Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Hi, thanks for checking out this episode. If you like this content, then please visit cooleyconservatives.com and click the Buy Me a Coffee option to leave us a tip. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Truth Social. Oh, and you can get our content in your email inbox once a week by subscribing at cooleyconservatives.com. Thanks again. Take care and God bless.
I want you